Hey guys, it's Markus, and welcome to more Chatting in My Jungle Room. I'm totally pumped today because I am speaking with scary kids, scaring kids, Chad Crawford and Pouyan Afkari. Chad, Pouyan, how are you both?
Fantastic. How you doing? Thanks for
Not
having us.
bad,
Doing
thank
great.
you. Not too bad. First of all, can I say congratulations on the new single released in April, State of Disrepair. Freaking great. The reception has been so cool. How proud of that single are you so far?
I'm stoked. It's honestly, it's just great to keep writing new music and kind of more along the lines of, the heavier, more fun live aspect of our kind of music. I'm stoked for this to come out. I'm stoked for the rest of the album to come out for everybody to hear what we've been doing.
Because this is the lead single essentially for the new album, isn't it?
We released one of the songs called Blackout about a year ago, actually.
Okay.
And we released that as we were working on the rest of the album.
Yep.
But yeah, this is the first single since then.
So how long till the new album actually comes out in entirety?
Just a few months, actually. In the middle of the summer, we're gonna release it.
Awesome. And so State of Disrepair, what was the inspiration behind that song?
Yeah, no worries. State of Disrepair. I think it's just about so the whole album. The it hasn't been announced, but the name of the album hasn't been announced. But it's about maps written in water, and State of Disrepair kind of nails it. I think it's about being lost in the journey and trying to find your way back, and the kind of struggles that you go through along the way and getting there. So just really mirrors kind of what's been happening with the band, figuring it out, trying to write with new vocalists and make new music and be a part of this brotherhood and doing everything the right way.
Without obviously giving away too much, with the new album, has the new album got the same kind of vein running through it?
Yeah. Surprisingly too. So the way that we write is Chad will usually get the foundation of the track, right? And we'll have the music ready, and then I'll sit down with whichever vocalist that we decide to write with. Since Tyson's passing and the resurgence of the band, the past two albums, we haven't brought in a new vocalist, but instead we've worked with a different vocalist on each track. And quite often there are people who've had a relationship with the band or Tyson or people who we just really think are extremely talented and would love to write with. And so in this process, what we do is we allow obviously anyone who writes with us to kind of bring their own meaning and their own lyrics to the table. And for this album, some things that's been happening is that people have been having similar themes of identity in music and kind of the journey, right? There are other themes also with individual tracks, but that's kind of been the running through line of who am I along this journey and where do I fit in within this music space as far as my identity is concerned, and it's been really interesting to see. Had a lot of those conversations with different vocalists.
Obviously, with Tyson passing, scary kids, did you go through a period where you were kind of lost and you were kind of like, well, what defines the bands now? Who are we?
Yeah, it was a pretty tough decision to come back and do the first reunion tour without him. I
Yeah.
think to decide to even do it, we had a lot of stipulations. Um, it took us a long time to find the right vocalist to come back and tour with, and then just as much time to decide to continue to write new music. But yeah, it has been extremely difficult because we wanted to do it right, right? We wanted to do right by him and the thing that we created together. And we wanted to make sure that if we continued, it was done for the right reasons as well. So that's a conversation that we've constantly had. And I think at this point, look, it's never gonna be what it was, but I think we've started respecting and appreciating that growth in any band. Like you shouldn't shy away from it. We love being together. We love writing music together. We're brothers. We started this band in high school, and we've had the ability to continue making it. And a lot of the people who are coming to get to see us for the first time would never have had a chance to do it. And we're just hearing a lot of that kind of validating appreciation of, hey, like, thank you for continuing I wouldn't have been able to see. So I think that is putting a lot of wind in our sails um, and kind of motivating us to continue and giving us the kind of feeling that we're doing the right thing, which is really helpful.
Of course. And Chad, I mean, obviously, Out of Light featured a plethora of guest artists. And like you were just saying, Pouyan, some of them were, friends of Tyson's and, people that you respected, etc. Was it almost a bit of a nod to him in collecting these people and, doing these songs together?
Yeah, we wanted to definitely do just kind of what made sense at the time. Um, we didn't exactly want to just replace Tyson with just someone else and just continue on. Um, we even had like a collection of old songs that we kind of brought to the table. Um, they kind of didn't make sense at the time being released 10 years after, because we've just grown so much as artists since then. And also, what we had at that time, like just sounded like that time. And we didn't want to release something at that time. But with like all the artists that we kind of chose for that album, a lot of them were just great friends that we've known over the years, like Matt McDonald from Classic Crime or Spencer from Under Oath. And then a lot of really cool people that we met just along the way, like Jared Vanes, and Noah Sebastian. Like we met him and he just worked out great for us on that song. So not only that, he also helped contribute on a few other songs as well. So it wasn't just the one.
Hey, let's get back to the early days for a minute before we start talking about an upcoming tour. But 2002, obviously, Scary Kids was created. What inspired the name, and how did you come up with a genre that you really all like to play in?
The song or the name of the band came from a song from this band called Captain Jazz. Um, and it was just kind of sporadic how we kind of came up with it. We just saw it and we're like, oh, that sounds cool, and we just kind of just went for it.
Yeah.
And then if you just kind of keep going and keep playing, that's just what your name is,
Yeah.
What was the other question? Sorry.
And so, were all of you into that same genre as you came
Oh,
together?
yeah. What happened was we would just kind of get in a room, and we were all like 15, 16 at the time. We would just have our really crappy amps and little distortion pedals. At the time, Pouyan actually didn't even play any instruments. We were best friends. And I was just like, you're in my band. Let's figure out what you're going to do. And he started learning how to play piano right then, like concert piano. Like one of your first things you ever played was Rachmaninoff, which is
Wow.
nuts. He had an awesome piano teacher that we can spend this entire interview talking about. But
The wild guy.
but he really like expedited your knowledge on the piano, like
Full
insane.
whiplash. Full whiplash.
Yeah, wow.
Crazy.
He would be in the other room and he could hear like when my pressure wasn't hard enough on my thumb, and he would grab it and he would just pound it down and he'd be like, "This is how you play." It was great.
It sounds like it was
Such a
kind of
nice
a
guy.
combination of an incredible teacher, but something that could actually come naturally to you as well.
Yeah, I think we tried a lot of instruments. Chad tried to teach me how to play guitar unsuccessfully, and I also played a violin when I was younger. It's something about the fingering was just way too complicated for me, or challenging for me. Piano really felt natural. And at the same time, there were some bands that were really excited about that were coming out that had a similar sound. So like Reggie and the Full Effect. I think Open Hand, the band before Saosin, used like a rain effect or a thunder effect that we liked in one of their songs, and a bunch of these like hardcore bands were using these splices from movie cutscenes, and we're like, you know what? If if I pick up piano, I can also just bring a keyboard and I can, add all these components. In the early days, I think we had a song with a wind and lightning effect that I overused way too much.
Oh
I
yeah.
don't think we ever tracked that one, right?
Nope, I don't think so.
God.
We had a song
Yeah.
called Goblin because that's what the keyboard patch was called.
Right, right, right. Yeah, so those were some of the inspiration. I think we really liked because everything was played live, right? No back like there were back in that time like, it's straight rock. Like you don't put backing tracks, you don't put supporting tracks, you don't put effects kind of
We
over the
didn't
house.
even we didn't even have a click.
No. Yeah. So it's like everything had to be played live, and with all that we're like, dude, this is going to be so fun. Like we can make any sound happen with this. But yeah, definitely with the first keyboards that I had, we couldn't make any sound. I think one of the first ones was stolen, uh, and I'm not going to say who stole it because I don't know, but it was stolen from our high school, right?
Hey, I'm going to stay back in the early days just for one more question. Chad and Pouyan, both of you, what was an album that you were listening to when you were both younger, independently, that really inspired you and, drove you into this realm of, creativity and music?
I mean, we were definitely heavily influenced by Reggie and the Full Effect. Um, that promotional copy and then whatever the next album was, both so good. Get Up Kids, which is also, I guess he was in that band as well. But I don't know what other albums were we totally
What about you
inspired by.
individually? What about us separately? Like what is something that you grew up with, um, before we got into the scene?
Before we even started playing, I was heavily influenced by like ska bands like Less Than Jake and Skink and Pickle.
Yeah,
Um,
you love that
and
stuff. It's great. It's really fun.
it was so fun.
We went to the Aquabats show, right? Like
Oh,
that
the
was that was
Aquabats. That
so
was
much
so
fun.
And
Um,
Pouyan,
but
what about you?
like when I was growing up, my mom really liked Janet Jackson. I liked like Thriller. The Thriller album by Michael Jackson was huge. There was also like a Simpsons album that I listened to as a kid.
I think I listened to that as well.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. Like, do the Bartman, and they had like, it was really good. And Cake. Cake was one of my first albums that I listened to, and one of the I think first shows that I went to. I think it was Cake, No Doubt, and the Vandals is, if I remember correctly, that was the lineup. But yeah, those were some bands that I listened to early, early.
Impressive. Hey, okay, so let's go up to now your music. So starting off with the LP After Dark, up to obviously your more recent music, obviously Out of Light, the album, but now your new music and your upcoming new album. How has the process of creating music changed for you since 2002?
Well, back in the day, we all would be in one big room together and just jamming and just making up parts as we would go, and then we'd stop and be like, "That was cool. What'd you do?" And then we'd kind of write to that. Nowadays, technology is great. Pouyan lives out in LA. I live in outside of Phoenix. So for us to be able to write together, we usually make a little trip. Um, we'll either go out to the middle of Palm Springs. Pouyan bought a house out in Joshua Tree. So on this new album, we have a song that we all went out there and recorded.
Wow.
But it's a lot of the ways we come about these songs now is I'm here in this is my studio here. And this is where we did the entire new album. It was right here in the studio. So being able to do things at home now makes things so easy. So I could just make like a small little part, send it over to Pouyan, be like, "Hey, what do you think about this? Is this something cool?" Then he'll give you his thoughts, be like, "Yeah, it's rad. Let's do some keyboard thing here." And then we'll kind of go back and forth until we make something awesome. Or
And
what we
of
think
course,
is
I mean, there's nothing like working in your own creative space. But I mean, it's obviously a lot more cost efficient as well, right?
a lot more cost efficient. Yeah, especially from us being so far away from each other.
Yeah. Um, Hey, so let's talk about the big 2025 tour. Scary Kids, Scaring Kids, and Skylit Drive, special guests, is happening November with the Australian tour. Starting off 14th of February in Brisbane, then 15th of February, Sydney, 16th in Melbourne, 18th in Adelaide, which is where I am. I'll be there. And then the 19th in Perth. That's essentially back to back to back. You're not going to get time to do any touristy things at all. How much are you looking forward to getting back to Australia?
We're amped. We love it out there. We played three tours out there before, and the most recent one was our farewell tour. So as the band was wrapping up, it ended, and then after we finished up there, we actually went to New Zealand and played Christchurch. That was the day the first 7.4 earthquake happened. We're at a hostel right across the street from it. But yeah, we've loved Australia in the past. Gone to show. We did have some time off previously. We got a chance to see a show at the Opera House.
Yeah, wow.
We got a chance to go over to the zoo and really kind of explore Sydney a bit. So just excited to be back.
One of
So,
those times we played Soundwave. That's what the festival's called out there, right?
yeah, yeah.
And they do it really awesome. How they set that whole tour up is, they'd group us together with like four other similar bands, and we would play a couple club shows, have like 1 or 2 days off, and then we'd play Soundwave, which is some giant, awesome festival. Then we'd go to the next city, have a day off, play a club show. So that was a really cool experience getting to do Soundwave. Do you guys still do Soundwave out in
Yes.
Australia? Is that still a thing?
Yeah.
Cool.
I mean, we've just gone through a period, probably not unlike you guys over there as well, but we've been through a period where music festivals have really taken a bit of a hit, and we've had so many shut down. But yeah, they're still around, which is great.
Yeah.
It's just
We'd love to do it again.
Oh, please. Hey,
That'd
let's
be great.
talk about tours at the moment. I mean, obviously you guys have done many tours, many festivals, all of that, many gigs. What's the gig performance festival that has really stood out for you as one of the most memorable?
Well, talking about Soundwave, that one was awesome. I think uh, Bamboozle was a really cool one, but back in the day that we played. Um, I could say some really bad ones that really sticks in my memory.
Let's not.
But
Emo's Not Dead cruise was great. That was a lot of fun.
I mean, bad as in like just things that happened to us, not that
Oh,
the
yeah, yeah,
festival
yeah.
itself was bad.
Yeah.
Hey, what's the craziest thing that's ever happened on a tour that you've personally seen?
Uh, I don't know. What do you think, Pouyan? On one of the Warp tours, we had to play the last three shows without Tyson, and we
Right.
had people like Craig Mabbit from Escape the Fate. We had Cove from Saosin and Vic from Pierce the Veil. They all kind of jumped on and sang a couple songs just to kind of help us out.
At a festival, yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. And then there's, wild tour stories, antics, but not too dissimilar from anything else you'd hear. So,
Well,
early with Mest, we played with a band called Mest. I think they threw like a TV out their window. They're like, "Hey, you guys can have our hotel room. We're gonna be driving for the night." We're like, great, thanks so much. And they continue to like throw TVs and microwaves out the window,
Wow.
and then we're like, hanging out in there. The cops are like, "Hey, you guys throwing in the window?" No, those guys just left. They gave us their room. They're like, "Okay, get out of here. What are you talking about?" Yeah, sure they did.
Hey, okay, so 2025, what can your fans and the punters expect from this tour?
Yeah, it's going to be a good one. We're going to play the self-titled album front to back. We're going to play a bunch of other music from back in the day, and we're going to play a handful of songs from the new album that will be released by then. Will be released really shortly. We have another song coming out too on May 16th. On May 16th we'll have another single from that album released.
Sure. So I'm sure everyone's going to be champing at the bit for it. Are you going to bring over any merch, any vinyls or anything for people to
Oh,
be?
absolutely. Yeah, self-titled album will be coming with us and all that stuff. I hope that's true.
I can't wait.
Yeah.
Hey, what do you love most about live performing?
There's nothing like it. There's really nothing like it. We had a long hiatus and, I've run marathons and I've gotten into this like fitness kick to try to get that high again, but there's nothing like it. And all like, or, try to satisfy it through work or other creative endeavors. But like you have creative feedback, you have some kind of fitness component to it of like going nuts on it. And you have this one-to-one where like you perform and the audience tells you in that moment if they like it or not, and you get to like share those kind of experiences. um there's just really nothing like it in the world.
And Chad, you?
I just honestly, I just really love just getting to be out and just to hang out with all my my best friends and being able to just do what we love. And not only that, like now we are so solid live that more solid than we've ever been. So it's really rewarding to be able to come through and show everybody like properly how it should sound.
Epic. All right, guys. Well, what an absolute delight. Absolute pleasure chatting with you. I hope I get to meet both of you when you hit Adelaide in the November period of this year. Like I said, everyone, it's Scary Kids, Scaring Kids, and a Skylit Drive, November 2025 Australian Tour, kicking off 14th of November, wrapping up the 19th of November in Perth. Get along, grab your tickets, because the music is absolute banger, absolute killer. You fans know that already. Guys, all the best with the lead up, and of course with the new album release as well. I can't wait to hear it all.
Thanks so much, Marcus.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, guys. Have a great day.
You too. Thank
Thanks,
you.
Al.
You hit Adelaide. Bye, guys.
See you soon.